Hi, welcome in hockey fans to a special edition of College Hockey Southwest Weekly. We're talking ACHA hockey. This morning I talked to ACHA D2. This afternoon I'm down here at the University of Arizona with head coach Chad Berman talking ACHA D1 National Tournament time. Step back just a moment though. We've got the Cactus Cup champions. We've got the WCHL Conference champions. What's left on the calendar to bring home with you?
The one we really want, right? So I'm excited to have that done in a positive, and I mean that in a positive way, but you fight all year for the national tournament, so I'm excited to put all our focus into Liberty and preparing for them.
You know, most teams will look at progression, right? You want to get better, you want to get your systems, you want to do all that as the season goes. You want to have ice time. You want to move your way up the ladder. You've had a whiteboard of check marks this year, right? You won the Cactus Cup first. You wanted the conference championship. You want to get to the national tournament. Now you want to win the national tournament. So what's that been like for you this year, the first year that you could really comfortably move through that?
I don't know if it's ever comfortable. I mean, I don't know if it surprised me, but the stress, the pressure is the same. It's just a little more enjoyable to win. So it's so strange here because I can answer this question differently if we had ice all the time, but you're constantly it's like 3 or 4 mini game series, Right. Like last month I had one practice, so we didn't play good the last 6 games, and I don't think I'm saying anything my room wouldn't acknowledge, and
right.
Obviously we've got a good reason, and we try to eliminate all excuses, but it's frustrating when you can't kind of layer on and build on those things. So in a lot of ways today we're kind of getting back to today's practice. We're going over fundamentals of takeaway 2-on-1 passes, 1-on-1 to take the eyes on the chest, just really kind of get back to baseline stuff today, tomorrow morning. Then we're off till Monday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday every day we're gonna kind of focus in on different things that we expect from Liberty and stuff like that to prepare for that tournament. So it's not normal here. It's okay. We've learned how to handle it, but it's exciting to move on to the tournament here.
You know, one thing that's unique about the system is a lot of people say, well, what's it like to have 3 weeks off? I mean, ASU's NCAA program's going with that now. Everybody else has a conference tournament. They don't. In your case, though, with your lack of ice building up to it, and now you're just telling me you got nine practices in a row, kind of nice, right, to get you guys back on the ice and get a feel and build towards something?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot to work on, that's for sure. Special teams, power play especially. I mean, you can lose Coos, so it's going to take a dip, but there's a lot we want to clean up, a lot we want to work on. It's nice to have the practices to go through that. Again, when at my prior job, we panicked when we had 2 weeks off. We scheduled a game a weekend before because we didn't want to take the weekend off because we weren't very good at coming back at it. And now, it's what we do. And I'm looking at Liberty. Liberty's got their playoff. Right. I think they have 4 games before we play them in the tournament for the championship game. So the positive for them is that they'll be sharp and they'll be continuing to play, and they have more ice time than they know what to do at the LaHaye Center there. But that's also interesting that they're going to be playing a championship game that close.
Yeah. So we'll get back to the tournament in a minute. I want to recap the season, talk a little bit about some of the guys that have stood up for you this year all year long. Let's start on the offense first.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to go through a lot of layers here. It's been obviously when you have a year like that, a lot of guys have stepped up and had big years. And let's start with this. Our captain, Kusanelli, comes back with another incredible year. The kid's, he's just such a humble kid too. It's easy to root for. I'm glad to see watching him in Russia competing. It's been a lot of fun.
For those that don't know, he's with the World University Games right now, and
yep.
He'll be back in time for your national tournament run. So yep. Don't panic, Wildcat fans. He'll be back.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't play him in this last game and rest him up. He's done great, and it's been fun to watch. I'm really proud of what he's doing. Then his line mate Bailey Marshall is probably the X factor for this whole thing, and how we've turned around. Especially when you take him from UCO and we happen to beat out UCO for the conference. That's a big turnaround for us. Just an unbelievable player. He's at his best when he's pursuing pucks, when he's heavy on the puck. But I mean, the kid's got, I think he's at 74 or 75 points, something like that in the season. And if you eliminate that from the conversation and you look at his takeaways, his back check pressure, his shot blocks, his penalty kill, his 3-3 low. I mean, he's a heck of a hockey player, a great teammate, and a great competitor. We moved Westland this year over to the wing from center. I hate doing it because in my opinion he may be the best two-way center in the conference, but he brings such an element that those two need as far as being first on pucks and winning battles that it's just been too good of a fit to walk away from, and you can only do that if you feel like you've got the center depth to do that, which leads me to Max Meyer. I mean, Max has come back this year with a heck of a year. He's really upped his battle and won more battles in the trenches than he did last year, and he just looks more comfortable as a sophomore. A kid who can make plays. He can be used in PK, power play. Obviously, we touched on Wesleyan there. Couldn't say enough about him. Probably the most consistent hockey player I've ever been around, period. He just brings the same thing every night. And it took me a couple of years to figure it out, but he just loves to play hockey, and if you just leave him alone, he'll do that. So it's best I stay out of his way. How deep you want to go? Lars Plum deck, you know?
Well, yeah. Let's go a few of these guys, because when I looked at your lineup, I'm looking at your board right now of what you have up there, and I'm going like, man, when I saw you 4 years ago, you were trying to put together a roster, and I don't know that you could go 2 lines deep. And now you're looking at this thing, and you can kind of roll 4 if you had to, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, at that time, it's hard to write a lineup with a noose around your neck, right? So, no, but in all seriousness, I mean, if you want to touch, Val Artizoni might be the best surprise of our team. I don't have a problem saying it. I think it's a compliment. He was the last kid taken on our roster, and we were debating between him and another kid, and ultimately we felt like, you know, he had more upside. And you want to talk about a kid who's taken advantage of opportunity. He stayed patient. He waited. He kept working, and when he got the opportunity, he didn't let it go. With his speed, that's a factor, and it's going to matter in the tournament. Fits our systems well. He's really responsible on the wall. Makes good decisions. Doesn't make create a lot of turnovers. You know what you're getting from him. Yep. He's been a heck of a surprise for us. You know, Cully Olson, Orion's brother. He again wasn't in the lineup to start the season. Yep. We go into Oklahoma, have a couple of injuries. He picks up 2 backdoor sticks, and you want to earn your coach's trust. Make great defensive plays like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And now I trust him in any situation. He went from not in the lineup to last minute. He's probably one of the guys on the ice. And when he puts weight on, some muscle this summer, and hopefully I've been sicking his brother on him. If he develops like his brother did physically, he's going to be a heck of a power forward. So. Stahlhuth, where do you want to go? I mean,
well, let's go to the other Marshall. I mean, you got one Marshall and Bailey, and you pick up Dawson, who's been a nice find for you too, and only a freshman, right? Yeah,
only a freshman. Talk about a really good penalty killer, a really coachable kid. He will do whatever you ask from him. I challenged him early in the year, and this is your role. You need to embrace being a shot blocker, and then, boy, he took off from there blocking shots. Very good on the PK. 5-on-5, another kid you trust who's going to make good decisions. He's pretty smart with the puck, puts it in areas in high percentage places. So just another kid, and I'll leave the names out, but a couple of coaches told me, he wouldn't make my roster. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take them then, right?
Thanks. Yeah.
So when you're building a championship team, which you guys are clearly champions right now, with not the national championship that you're after, but you've got other steps, so we call you champions. But you need people to buy in, right, from top to bottom. And in the past, has that been a battle for you, getting everybody to buy in?
Yeah. Yes. It was a 4-year project. I mean, I've had some long phone calls, including with Coach Powers, and one thing he always instilled in me is it takes 4 years to stay with it, you know. And other people, you know, it takes a long time to steer a big ship, and those quotes sound fun when you're through it. It's not so fun when you're going through it. But it takes a long time, and this program's built on culture. We had to go backwards in a lot of senses to go forward, and there were growth. I knew we established our culture this year, but there were growths into understanding what that means and what that commitment means. And probably the most impactful meeting we had this year was when we came back from Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat us 5-0, and it was worse than 5-0. I mean, they took it to us. Granted, the end of a month of travel, and again, we don't use excuses, but in this room that you're sitting, we had a gut check conversation about what do we want to be, what do we want to accomplish. And I'm very comfortable saying we're a championship group because we just won a conference, and one of the best conferences in the country. And what to me is so special about winning a conference championship is, you know, you get to the national tournament, the best teams make it, the hottest team's going to win it, period, right? And it's a hell of a week. But you win a conference, that means you've gone through injuries, illness, adversity, travel. It's just something special about that duration of 6 months of the grind and to be able to come out on top. I think that says a lot about your group going into the tournament.
Well, let me throw this something about your particular conference. Me being in the desert Southwest, your conference is not a drive 50 miles down the bus. It's not drive 3 hours for your longest trip like it is in the East. Yeah. It's much more difficult, right? You're in Arizona. You're going to Oklahoma. You're going to Colorado. You got to come back. You drive up to UNLV. I mean, UNLV and ASU, your 2 closest trips, and they're like, what, UNLV 6 hours for you probably or more.
Yeah.
So this is not an easy conference to play travel-wise, and the competition, like you already mentioned, is not easy to play. But let's jump off your forwards to your defense. When I talked to you earlier in the year, I said, what's going to be your worrisome area? I think I told you, and you said, don't know what I have on defense.
Well,
you know yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew what I had. I didn't know how it would develop. I didn't know how it would handle the pressure grind of the next step from juniors. When we recruited our D, we were very specific in what we were after. We knew we had a transition team. We wanted puck-moving, mobile kids.
Yep.
And so we locked up Jones and Hall early, and I was doing cartwheels in my backyard because they really fit that well. And Jones is a kid who, talk about a freshman stepping into the #1 power play on a top 9 team, and how he's handled that. I mean, I thought, boy, I need a lefty at the top to run that switch with Coos.
Yep.
And I didn't have necessarily the perfect fit, and let's take a look at him, and I just never came off of it. He makes great decisions. He's a threat as a shoot off of it. There's different things we can rotate off to take the pressure off of Coos and Bailey, which obviously gets a lot of attention. And I think Matthew Hall is an incredibly underrated player. How do you find 6'3" defensemen who are mobile and can move pucks like that and are very coachable and just a humble kid? OHL draft pick, I just think he was an under-radar pick to a lot of people that I was thrilled about. And then obviously, the leader of our group unquestionably is Manny Rowe. He's the vocal guy in our room.
Yep.
And he's really stepped up and matured. He's matured more as a leader than he has developed as a player, and I don't mean to slight the development as a player, but he's really one of the major reasons this program's in the position they are, because we needed somebody vocal like that in our room. And then you can go to his partner, Keelan Olnick. Keelan came to us from the NCDC last year, mid-Christmas break. He's a very soft-spoken kid, and I think the transition was hard here for him, and probably the room we had at the time wasn't the best for his transition. And so we saw a lot of skill. Again, another 6'3" kid with a great defensive stick on puck stuff. He has flashes of offense. You kind of got to let him do his thing with his game and within reason. But he's so much more comfortable this year, and the way he's come through and come back this season, he's immediately jumped on our top pair. You can use him in any situation. And again, another big, tall, skilled kid who likes to throw his weight around, and we need a little bite.
All right, let's wrap it up with the first segment. I'll talk tournament, but let's talk goaltenders. I know we could probably go on 4 segments about that. You got a couple of really good ones.
So yeah, we're lucky. Two good goalies, and you have to in this league. Especially we talk about our travel, we're playing 3-game weekends. You got to have 2 good goaltenders to win a conference. You're gonna, you can't afford to drop the ones you shouldn't. Anthony Churro has just been an absolute star in this league, and it doesn't surprise me in a bit. I've told this story 100 times, and I'll do it 101. When we recruited him, he had taken his team to the finals all 3 years. He'd been like goalie of the year, done all these things. I'm watching his game from my couch, screaming at a laptop while my kids are trying to sleep. And Churro put like 85 saves up into 4 overtimes to take his team to Game 7. I mean, I knew he's a gamer, right? And I know he knew Goltz, and I knew a lot of information through Goltz. The most engaged goaltender I've ever met in my life, and by that I mean he always is barking from the ice, talking to the D. If there's too many men on the ice, you'll know because he'll tell you. Like he's gonna make a great coach. He's very in tune with everything that's going on. I mean, I talk to him like an assistant coach. I pick his brain all the time. Why wouldn't I, right?
Right.
And then obviously Biv, a big athletic kid. He's very mobile, a really hard worker. If anything, he's too hard on himself, and that's my challenge with him, to keep him positive.
Right.
But boy, everyone in that room knows either one of those kids can take us deep into the tournament.
When I talked to Anthony, and I've talked to him before he came here and when he was here, and he's the most soft-spoken kid off the ice ever. I mean, he's gracious, and he'll talk to you all the time, but to get him to talk about himself and really get things rolling, it's nearly impossible. And then to see him on the ice, like you were just mentioning, it looks like, whoa, what happened? He went into the closet, came out of Superman or something.
Yeah.
It's fun. We're going to get back into more fun. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk about that trip to Frisco, Texas, and what that means, and who you're playing and when you're playing.
Yeah.
All right, we're back, folks. We got Chad Berman still with me. We talked about his team, which we could have gone on for we done 14 minutes. We could have gone on for a full 30, but we're going to revisit the tournament now, because I know you got some information today, right, about the tournament pairings and how everything's going to go. First of all, the tournament this year is in Frisco, Texas. It's not in Ohio. Good or bad for you?
Love it. I mean, we're taking a bus. I can't tell you how much that helps the budget and
Right.
just like, the flexibility, and we're going to practice and then hop on a bus. And the last
So let's start from right there. You're going to hop on a bus when?
the 21st, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, and you're headed basically down I-10 to Frisco, Texas, right?
Wherever the road goes, I don't know. Yeah. Ask
He
me
doesn't
that
worry
bus.
about that.
Yeah.
He just gets on.
I know
like
it
the bus
takes
driver
X
takes.
amount of hours.
So you get to Frisco. What's game one? When is it? Who's it against?
We're playing Liberty in the night matinee game there.
How did you draw Liberty?
Well, we finished with the 9 seed, and they got the 8 seed, so they've got last change, unfortunately. I was just glad not to get UCO. I didn't want to have any conference battle, and I think we beat each other up enough. And I'd clearly like to see our conference do well. But
I know you've already been busy looking at Liberty.
Oh yeah.
What do you know? What do you have to do to stop them?
I feel like I'm about to describe. I feel like Ray Finkel's about to come out. Very skilled team. Very offensive minded. They want to win 5-4. Transitionally very good, especially between the circles. Lots of puck pursuit through the neutral zone. They run a diamond one power play, where the guy in the front will kind of pop to the goal line. They run a weak side rotation. You have to be very conscious of their top guys. They got a kid out in Russia right now, number 90. I know is very big and skilled. They're an impressive group of players. We're going to have to be aware of them. We're going to have to. I think there's things that work to our advantage. I think there's things we're going to have to be aware of. But it should be a heck of a matchup, and can't wait to figure it all out on the ice.
So does this mean the pressure is on your goaltender and defense more than it is your offense to match them in scoring, or is it pretty equal across the board?
I don't know that pressure is the word I'd use. I mean, we're again, I said to you before, there was times here where we didn't have any pressure, and I'll take pressure any day. So
Right.
I don't know if it's pressure. I think those are our strengths. You
Yeah.
know, I think we have some ingredients that play well in the national tournament. Great goaltending and a shot blocker's mentality. We definitely need to stay out of the box. That's for sure. But also our PK, I think, is a weapon. And last time I went to the final game of that tournament, we went for 7-7 on the PK. That stuff matters. It's a special teams matchup. It's hard to generate a lot of 5-on-5 offense. It's hard to get inside, which is why it ends up being usually a special teams game. The top two lines usually nullify themselves. Depth usually wins. We like our chances in that regard, but I have no doubt that everybody's going to buy in and block shots and do whatever it takes.
So that's game one, 7:30, right? On what night was that?
Saturday.
Okay, so that's Saturday. Then you move on if you win, because it's single elimination correctly.
Yeah, hopefully.
What lies ahead of you?
Almighty Lindenwood. So, yeah. Currently breaking them down as well, and we'll be prepared for them because of the quick turnaround. I don't have time to wait until then, so we'll have a full breakdown of them prepared, and we'll shift our focus hopefully to them. Obviously, we got to get through the beast of Liberty, and
Right.
I have great respect for them, and that's going to be a challenge in itself.
So for people that don't know, this is a single elimination. How many wins to win it all?
4.
4 to win it all.
If you're buying team 5, so yeah, we're going to have to get in good shape here. 4 games in 4 days.
Coach Powers tells me that is the hardest championship to win in any level of hockey because of the caliber of talent and because of the strain it puts on you, not being able to prepare, playing game after game after game, and single elimination. It's not like even the NCAA tournament where they get 2 weekends to break it down, right?
Yeah.
You got 4 wins still, but it's over 2 weekends.
Yeah. Well, exactly why I'm preparing 2 games deep, and then from
Yeah.
there it's a reseed, so I'd do more if I could. But, our team, at this time of the year, there's nothing tremendously new we're going to throw at our guys. We've prepared for adjustments that we've done on the fly that, that's what the message to the team is. There's nothing new here. We're not playing a brand new game.
Yep.
We've been through a lot of these experiences, which is why you want to go through that. I think about the UCO game on the Saturday where we, Churro had to step up and kind of stand on his head and make some big saves, and we had to make some big shot blocks, but we hung and won 1-0. That's what it's going to take to be a Lindenwood. I mean, they're that good. So those experiences matter, and we've been through that, and hopefully we can draw on those moving forward.
Okay, so we talked about your team. We talked about the tournament. Let's recap, at least right now, what this season has meant to you, your program, your sponsors, your donors, all the people that have stepped up. How important is it for them to look at this thing and go, hey, we've got a conference champion here. We've got a Cactus Cup champion for the 2nd straight year. And now we're going to the national tournament, but we're not going there with the hopes of just, hey, we made it. We're going there with hopes of doing something special.
Yeah, it means everything. I mean, especially it means everything to me to tell the alumni I told you we would, because I've been telling them it's coming, it's coming. It took a lot of work, a lot of late nights, and obviously it's the players who make that stuff happen. So I'm proud of the group and the way they've been able to buy in and dig in and play their roles. And obviously you got to adjust your roles on good teams, and guys have been able to do that. There's not an ego in our room, and that's what we wanted when we were building this thing. It's been an incredible journey, an incredible process. I think the reputation is it's a bunch of pool frat boys who sit by, that don't practice and kind of just enjoy the crowd, and that's bothered me for 4 years. So if that doesn't eliminate some of that, even if it was true the first couple of years, it bothers me. And so to eliminate some of that's important to me. It's crazy. I have great respect for UCO to have beaten them in a conference. It makes it extra special. That Craig's done an unbelievable job with that program, but it's still a bit surreal, and maybe because of the national tournament, I haven't completely been able to break through it, because now I'm looking at Liberty, not the trophy.
So let's wrap things up by you telling me and me telling you, first of all, that I've watched you develop this program for 4 years. I've seen what you've been through. I've been here. I've been on a bus with you at least once, and I know what it's like to build a quote-unquote championship team while you're playing ACHA D1 hockey. And I want to tell you how proud I am of watching you and how proud I am of your program and how people have bought in. And I think you as a coach has brought the kids, not only, the kids got to buy into the program, but they also got to buy into the coach. So hats off to you for bringing in a group of good kids that are talented, good students, and getting things done.
Thanks so much. I mean, that means the world to me. It's we're proud of what we're doing. We're hoping we're making the conference, the ACHA, and most importantly, the university proud, and hopefully we can keep building here. We've got more.
All right, folks, Wildcats are just getting started, if we will, as they head to Frisco, Texas. We'll be back with a few players to get their thoughts and comments on what's going on, and stick with us at College Hockey Southwest Weekly.
Welcome back on College Hockey Southwest Weekly. Tom Callahan joined by Anthony Shiro here. Anthony, first, thanks for taking the time to join us. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about this season for Arizona, and you guys, conference champions. First of all, congratulations on that. Was there a moment during this season where you kind of got the feeling that, hey, maybe this team is the team that can go ahead and win a conference championship?
I think it's just right when we got here. We had the right group of guys. You could kind of feel in the locker room. I mean, there was no clicks or anything. We all kind of got along as a team, and I mean, it's kind of obvious on the ice. You kind of see that there isn't any clicks, that we all get along. That we're just one big team. So yeah.
How important is that? And I think folks don't understand, especially if they've never been in a room before. How much does that room mean to you guys on the ice, off the ice? Whether you're training or how does that impact you?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, it makes coming to the rink easier. If you have the guys in the room, the right guys in the room, coming to the rink, it's easy to go to practice and work hard for them and work hard for each other, rather than having guys that, kind of stick out, and then it's kind of ruins it for everybody, I guess. But I mean, having the right guys in the room makes it a lot easier to come to practice and work hard.
And so big weekend with the wins over ASU. In fact, you guys did a great job against ASU. And talk about playing the rivalry games and what those mean.
They're always fun. You don't like them, they don't like us. Beating them 8 straight, those makes it even better. Coming in, last year we were lucky enough to win the Cactus Cup, and then doing it again this year. But it's always fun. It's always a battle. Yeah.
And it's a long season, and I guess that it's going to have its peaks and valleys, but I guess it's always a peak when you're facing the Sun Devils, huh?
Yeah, especially here, when we get the crowd going and get the crowd into it. It's always rocking here, so it's always fun.
Well, looking ahead, you've got the tournament coming up here, and now you actually do get to practice a little bit, which not maybe always a favorite thing for a goaltender, but talk about now getting prepared for the tournament and just having that ice time and what that means for you guys.
Yeah, I think we had only had one practice the last month or so having practices will help a lot. Just kind of work on the small things. Just getting ready for the first game. That's the only worries that we have right now, is just coming in, working hard in practice, no messing around, because we only have, I think 7 left. So we gotta come in, make sure we're focused, and getting ready for that first game.
What did you do to stay sharp when you have that much downtime off the ice?
Just try to juggle and kind of handwork off the walls and stuff with tennis balls and racquetballs. I mean, there's not much more you can do. Is kind of stay in shape and be ready, but it's kind of hard not practicing. But it is what it is.
Well, I imagine you guys are excited now heading towards this tournament. I mean, it's not going to be an easy road, that's for sure. But I don't think you guys have done anything the easy way all year, and you still come out on top.
Yeah, I think we're ready. I think we have the team to. I mean, obviously make a good push at the tournament. I think we're prepared and we're ready to go.
Talk a little bit about your background coming into U of A and what it was like for you growing up playing hockey as a kid and how you ended up here.
I'm from Peoria, Arizona, so I grew up playing Mission for the youth team. And then Jeremy Golds got me to juniors in Canada, where I played in Victoria, British Columbia for 3 years. And then he saw me on video and contacted me, and that's how I got here. He convinced me to come here, came for a visit, and fell in love with it then.
Did you feel like you were a bit of a Trader Peoria kid coming down here to Tucson? Do you have any moments with that?
No, not at all. No, none.
Well, it seems to have worked out pretty well for you. So looking ahead, Anthony, going forward to this tournament here, what in your mind is maybe one or two of the biggest keys for your team to victory?
I think ours is keeping it simple. We can't do too much, and we gotta get pucks in, pucks deep, and just use our speed. We're a quick team, a good skilled team, so we gotta use our speed and skill to our advantage, and just try not to be too fancy.
I appreciate you taking the time to join us. Good luck in the tournament.
Thank you.
All right, welcome in, college hockey fans. It's College Hockey Southwest Weekly Special Edition here at the University of Arizona. I've got Bailey Marshall with me, the one of the catalysts, let's say, of this Wildcat team. And you've been a Wildcat for almost a year now. How does it feel?
It feels pretty awesome. I mean, came in here not expecting much, and we've had a pretty amazing year. And I'm just loving the school and loving the boys. So it's been an awesome year so far.
So, needless to say, the transition for you has been pretty smooth.
Yeah, definitely been pretty smooth. Just pretty much hopped right into the team, and it's been going pretty great from the start up until now. So we're just looking forward to Nationals now.
So you got a trip to the Nationals. This time it's not in Ohio, though. It's Frisco, Texas.
Yeah,
how does it feel?
It feels like it's going to be pretty awesome. I mean, Columbus was a little cold last time, and now I'm already used to this warm weather in Arizona.
Right.
We're finally starting to warm up, so I think it'll be pretty cool, especially playing in a different, now in Dallas's practice rink, so it's pretty cool. We got to see Columbus's last year, now a different one this year. So
let's talk a little bit. You've been there, right? You know what this is all like. What are you telling the guys? What are you sharing with them about what they can expect from this kind of a tournament?
I've just really tried to prepare everyone that really hasn't seen it yet. All the younger guys, just like, it's one game, and that's all you really got to look at is this next game. Like, nothing else matters right now. Is that, like, if you mess up this game, then we're done. We're going home. Like, you got to play every game like it's the last game of the year, and that's really the only way. Like, you really can't have any mistakes, and we got to just play as a whole 60 minutes every game, and that's really all.
Is that difficult as a player to get that mentality when you played all season long, just going like, well, we want to win, but it's not the end of the world if we don't? Is that hard to? I mean, you've been through it. What's it like?
I mean, definitely, it's like we've had such a great season, and so now there's expectations, and definitely it's nerve-wracking going in every game because you worked so hard for this entire season, but if you have one bad game, then you're going home. So it's really nerve-wracking, but you gotta find it in you to go out and play every game like we've been playing all year and just get it done.
I know you came in here new and didn't really know a whole lot about Arizona hockey and the traditions and things like that, but when I say Cactus Cup champion 2 years in a row, I say conference champion. What does that mean to you as a part of this Wildcat hockey team? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty unbelievable, especially, first ever conference championship that U of A has ever had, so it's pretty awesome being a part of that, and keeping the Cactus Cup for the second year in a row. I know that ASU had it for a while, and it's good that we are able to keep it 2 years in a row, and hopefully we can keep that going along with a couple more conference championships along the way. Now, you had to play last weekend up at ASU and secure the conference championship, but you were missing a line mate.
Yeah.
What was it like to not have Coos over there for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different taking Coos out of the mix, but we've had guys stepping up lately, which is nice. I mean, Stolly's been putting it in a lot of pucks lately, Westy too, so it's been pretty cool. But definitely missing Coos a little bit, but I know he's he's having some fun out in Russia, and he's getting some good competition. So I'm sure he'll be ready to hop right back in there.
You know, I joked with some of the guys from Arizona State's NCAA team that made that same roster that he did, and I was telling them that when I grew up, if you got sent to Siberia as a hockey player, it was a bad thing, right? Especially if you were Russian. But as an American, getting the chance to play in the World University Games is kind of special, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely cool. Because I mean, like, he's playing against pro guys there, guys in the KHL and stuff like that, like guys that he might not have ever gotten the opportunity to play against. So I mean, he used to. I actually talked to him, and he said it was the fastest paced games he's ever played. So I mean, it's definitely it's pretty awesome for him. I'm happy for him, and hopefully he can come back a little faster from those games.
I was just going to say,
nationals, yeah.
I was just going to say, when he comes back with that speed, are you ready to match him?
I mean, who knows? We'll find out.
All right, for those of you that don't know, Bailey's not the only Marshall on this roster. Your brother Dawson is here.
Yep.
Tell me what it's like to have been able to spend a whole year playing college hockey with your brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. We've never actually played together growing up. We were 1 year off of being together based on age. And it's been pretty awesome coming to school together. We live together. It's been great. I mean, we penalty kill together, and it's just something that if we didn't decide to come here together, we would have never played together. So it's just an awesome experience, and it's been a great year penalty killing with him, and looking forward to the next couple of years.
You know, I talked to your coach earlier, and I asked him. I said I give a lot of credit to him to bringing in this group of players because you guys have to buy into the program, right? But you have to also buy into the head coach. So what's it like in that room playing for Coach Berman? What makes it special here?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely know we have a different group that they've had in the past, and in the past not a lot of guys are buying in, but now it seems like we got a group that really is into the big picture, and they're really focused on, listening to Berman and all collectively just doing what we need to as a team, and it's just everyone's on the same page. So no, I mean, like, I've heard that in the past there's been arguments and like just teammates that don't really like each other, but it seems that everyone's really getting along really well, and I mean, all the younger guys are getting along with the older guys, and I think that's been a lot to do with our success that we've had this year too. All
right, final question for you. Put your analyst hat on. If you're analyzing the U of A and you're looking at you guys on tape for the whole season, what does somebody have to do to try to beat you? What's your strengths? What are you going to do?
Well, I'd say one of our weaknesses is our penalties. We definitely got to stay out of the box, but luckily we have been pretty good on the PK this year. But to beat us, I don't know. I'd say you got to shut down our top lines that have been pretty hot lately. And
is that possible? I've seen a lot of people try that.
I guess we'll see, but yeah, that's definitely a key. But definitely staying out of the box too, because I mean, our power play has been pretty hot as well this season. So I mean, I guess it's really special teams, like, is what it's going to boil down to. So we got to stay disciplined.
So follow up on that, and then I'll let you go. Is if that's the key to it, do you feel extra pressure having to lead this team offensively?
Not necessarily. I just feel a little bit of pressure with the younger guys, trying to make sure that they're not taking some of the stupid penalties behind the whistle, and just make sure that they realize like what's at stake every single game from here on out, and that we can't be taking the dumb penalties. Like, there's very few penalties that we're okay with, and those are like physicality penalties. Gotta move your feet and make sure that you're not taking stick penalties or anything like that. So that's definitely a huge part of it.
All right, Bailey Marshall, it's been a pleasure seeing you on Arizona ice for a while. I've seen you for a few years on other teams, but nice to see you down here in the red and blue. Good luck in the tournament, and go bring home that big trophy,
yeah,
okay?
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. All right, welcome in, hockey fans, college hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. This is College Hockey Southwest Weekly, our special edition. We're looking at the U of A, and I've got the lone senior on the University of Arizona hockey team. I've got Charlie James with me. So, Charlie, first of all, welcome in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, it's winding down, right? We've been talking champions. We got Cactus Cup champion. We got conference champion. We know what championship you guys want to end the season with,
sir.
But talk about your year.
It's honestly been a really special one. Obviously, I couldn't ask for a better group of teammates, and the wins have just kept coming and coming because we've been staying true to our systems, working hard every day, and just doing what we can and controlling everything that we possibly can. It's honestly been the best year of hockey I've ever had, so I couldn't be more thankful.
Okay, so you've accomplished a lot, but there's still a lot more to accomplish. You're headed to Frisco, Texas. What's going through your mind now as we're a couple of weeks away from that trip?
Well, right now we're trying to focus week to week. This is probably the most practice we've ever had leading up to a national tournament. So honestly, super thankful to that. So I'm just kind of excited to get back on the ice here on a daily basis and start preparing for the national tournament.
So Coach said with a bunch of practices coming up, you're going to do a bunch of different things, getting back to basics a little bit,
Sure.
working on some things to get better. When we talk about the Arizona Wildcats and we talk about 2018-2019 season, what's the key?
The key is just playing as a team. I think our first line is as confident as our fourth line, and that's what it takes to win a national championship. If they're not pulling the same amount of weight, then you're not going to be able to make it that far. So I think we just have a really deep team, and that's the reason we had so much success this season.
You know, I just talked to your teammate Bailey Marshall, and I asked him this question. I'm going to ask you, as you look at the way the season's gone, right? You've had multiple games, and you wanted to win every game. Obviously, that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's come down to win or go home, right?
Right.
What's the mentality? Is it a different mentality in your head, or do you just try to play the same way, or how do you approach these games, and especially that first game?
It's definitely a different mentality and a whole different atmosphere. It's obviously extremely cutthroat, so guys are going to be breaking sticks over the glass, stuff like that, just because they're so frustrated because it is that type of environment. So I just know we have to prepare the same way we keep preparing and stay as sharp as we can and focus on the task at hand. We'll be more than good to go.
You've seen this team for a few years. When I look at the roster, which on the wall in the coach's office where we happen to be sitting right now, and I go, wow, that's 4 lines that we can roll offensively. That's 3 good pair of defensemen, 2 great goaltenders. What would keep you guys from not winning a national championship?
Honestly, I think it's just ourselves at this point. If we just stick true to our game, there's no team that we can't beat, and I think we know that. So as long as we just keep working hard, I think we'll be good to go.
So you got Liberty coming up, first game. You guys have an 8-9 draw.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would have preferred to be the 8 rather than the 9.
Absolutely.
But either way, you get Liberty first. Good or bad?
I definitely think it's a good thing. I've been here for 4 years. I've never had a chance to play them, so I'm personally super excited to play a team I've never played before. And I think just on paper, it's going to be a perfect matchup, like you said, 8-9. So can't really ask for more than that.
So when you look back at the WCHL and winning that championship, you've got a lot of good teams that play in this conference, a lot of travel, things like that. How much has that prepared you guys to face these other guys that are quote-unquote ranked above you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we play in a really tough conference. It's a big physical conference, so I know that if we go in the national tournament, we have to play, I think, 4 games in 5 days or something like that if we make it to the national championship. So I think we've prepared by playing against these really tough big teams that just like to grind and wear teams down. I think we know what we're going to expect now, so I think we'll be prepared.
And over the years, the U of A has meant a lot to you, a lot to your family. How big is it going to be to, if you're able to come home with that championship? What's the city of Tucson, what's the U of A family going to feel like? You have any idea or expectations what that might be like?
I can't even explain how amazing that would feel. I mean, obviously, to end my season that way, to end our season that way is unimaginable, but it's definitely possible. So if we can bring a championship home to Tucson, I think it's everything we've worked so hard for, and that's what we want to do.
All right, final question for you. Win, lose, or draw, when you guys come back, what kind of legacy have you guys, this particular team, left on this program, this city?
I think we've shown that it can be done. I think it shows that hockey works in Tucson, Arizona, and that there's a lot of other good college teams, but we're one of the best of them. There's no reason we can't be year in and year out.
Charlie James, appreciate your time as always.
Appreciate it.
Good luck down in Frisco, Texas.